Greetings, my name's Guy Dauncey. This is the show Change the World, where, as you'll know if you've been a regular follower, I like to bring in people who are doing interesting stuff in the world to change the world. And today we're talking transit, and my guest is Liz Cronin, who is the interim chair with the Victoria Transit Riders Union, grassroots organisation pushing for fair, free and excellent transit in BC and in Victoria and across BC. So a couple of other things about yourself first. Been involved in social and environmental justice in Lekwungen territory for many years, right? Practicing social worker as well. Mm-hmm. So you really got your hands on a one-to-one relationship with a lot of people then, right? Mm-hmm. And that keeps you grounded, stuff. So tell us about the Victoria Transit Riders Union. How did it get started and what are you trying to do?
Well, it was really beautiful how it started. It was actually kind of two separate groups of people who started talking about the need for something like this around the same time.
How long ago are you talking?
I think it was around 3 years ago, the very earliest stages, and then we were formed like around 2.5 years ago.
Yeah.
Some of us were involved in kind of socialist organizing, and we were just noticing this is such a beautiful policy area that really needs more advocacy in the region.
Yes.
And then another person was so passionate about transit, talking with her friends, and she had been involved in some union organizing, trying to unionize her workplace with her friend.
Yes.
And that had actually not worked. It doesn't always work. And unfortunately that organizing effort didn't work, but they learned a lot. They got really passionate about the power of organizing.
Yes.
And they said, we need a union for transit riders. And then we encountered each other and came together, and then our vision of fair, free, and excellent transit was born, and we started to grow.
Do you know how many transit riders there are in either Victoria or the CRD, the capital region?
I actually don't know that number. I would imagine like quite a few, and especially if you take into account the folks who even just occasionally use transit, because not everyone is using it every day, but it's it's a very important system to many people.
Yeah. And do you know how many people struggle with the cost of it?
Well, I do have some sense. As you say, with my social work, I get to talk to people about their lives, not in this role, and I don't share this role with my clients very often. This is my separate advocacy work that I do. But I hear about the things that are important to them, and I do hear from clients that it's hard to pay for the bus, and it's hard to get to where they need to go to access food, to access services, to come and see me. I'm working currently as a trauma counselor in a nonprofit organization, and it's hard for people sometimes to get there to work.
My take on what's happened over the last 5 or 10 years is that the rents have gone up so extraordinarily high. You have to pay your rent. You don't have to buy all your food. So other things give, because the landlords are, to my mind, taking a lot more money than they used to.
Yeah. And people are being squeezed so hard, badly. And people who weren't getting squeezed before are starting to feel it now. So we know that's one of the things we're really passionate about, actually, is when we're looking at how we can make improvements, not actually just talking to the people who currently can get on the transit. If you ask transit riders now what needs to happen to improve transit, you're missing the people who can't get on transit.
By definition.
Yeah. So in the very early days, it was really beautiful how it happened organically. We were just talking about our vision that we would want transit to be fully accessible. And so we talked about ideas of having it be affordable. Some people, it's a very natural impulse. Many people think, oh, we can have a special option. Maybe we can advocate for some kind of means testing for the people who are in poverty so that they can have a special pass. Because of the great honor I've had of accompanying people through things they need to do in their life when I was an outreach worker, I have had the experience of being in a Service Canada office with a survivor of residential school who was trying to prove to the Government of Canada his identity to get access to any of his information. He had no identification because of all the hardships he'd been living through. And so I am lucky to have that, and that's also a responsibility I carry, to know something about how that person's life was going on the ground. So when you tell me that someone would have to show their income to get a pass, I luckily just know that won't work. And so we skipped past that. We decided, no, we're not going to use language like accessible or affordable. It has to be free. The only way to actually make it accessible to everyone is to eliminate the fares. And then it gets so efficient too, because you don't have the drivers having to split their attention between safety and driving, which is really challenging and important, and who's paying what fare and who's getting on the bus.
Well, I read a thing in a different context that in I think it was Montpellier in France, where I believe they have free transit now, the bus drivers were saying that 90% of the aggression that happened on a bus was around the fare.
Yeah, if you have desperate folks who need to move around, and you're putting them in a conflict situation with the drivers, it's not safe for the drivers, it's not safe for the other passengers or for that person. I was pretty excited when Zoran recently got elected in
Zoran Mamdani
in New York for the mayor of New York, and he ran on free buses, And they did a pilot before this, and he said that during the pilot, when some of the routes were made free for the buses, the violence against the drivers went down by 40%.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I gather in some, I did my research, I did my homework. There's some 150 communities around the world that have free transit. Some of them just have it on certain popular routes. Like the main route to UBC or something like that, and others do it for the whole community. Some include tourists, some don't. What would your model be for free transit?
Well, because we understand that it would increase ridership, which is excellent on so many fronts.
Well, the data shows that it increases ridership.
Some people frame that as a downside, like, oh no, we're going to have to improve service, increases ridership. No, that's good for congestion. That's good for
everyone on the bus is not in a car.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's really good for everyone, and it's good for the healthcare system when people are using transit, moving around. Anyhow, we need to get more people onto transit. When you do make it free, ridership goes up. So we understand you may need to have a graded approach, like a gradual approach to doing this. So our ask is for the BC government to immediately abolish fares for youth and for seniors, to start with those groups, and then to build up infrastructure to eliminate fares for everyone.
So who is it free for at the moment? Starting with an obviously one-year-old baby with his mum, free, right?
But the mom's not free, and that's important. That's important. The one-year-old baby can't travel alone. So
true, I know. So for whom is transit free at the moment?
So currently, there was a bunch of advocacy that happened a number of years ago, and the government abolished fares for people 12 and under across the province. So when you turn 13,
when you get 13, you start paying.
Yes, and there has been some beautiful work done in the city of Victoria to have a youth bus pass program where people who are 18 and under in the city of Victoria can go, I believe it's like going to City Hall, and they get a pass. So they can access that. But we've talked to youth in the region who are very distressed by the fact that their friends in Esquimalt, Oak Bay, Saanich, they can't access that. So they have to start paying when they turn 13. And many of their families don't have the money for
So one of the drawbacks that I can see of them having to pay is if teenagers get out of the habit of riding the bus, they're just going to want a car as soon as they, mummy or daddy will give it to them, right? And then they're not bus riders. But if they continue being bus riders through their teenage and apprentice or student years, they're in the habit of it. It's normalized, right?
Oh, for sure. And that's so beautiful for their confidence. It's really that they learn how to move around their community and get the things that they need. Part of the reason we want this to start with seniors and youth is because both of those groups of people are more vulnerable to social isolation. And we heard a lot about that in the pandemic. It's actually really dangerous, not just for your mental health, but for your physical health. So this is why we think it's really important to make it clear that right now taxpayers are paying for the costs associated with the status quo. Many people intuitively feel that it would cost more money for taxpayers to eliminate fares, but it's so important to actually analyze that holistically. Right now, we are putting barriers in the way of people going to visit their grandkids, of people going to access healthy food and a meal together. That keeps them out of the hospital. The hospital is expensive. The hospital also can't handle it. They're struggling over there. We just really need to invest in thriving. It was really interesting in social work school learning that when you support people up front and you use the money and you invest the money in thriving and wellness, it saves so much money down the line. It's not even just that it's better and more better for human dignity and for community. It's also cheaper to give people what they need.
So I've heard people argue that, well, seniors are wealthy, they don't need this, but the seniors are wealthy, are very happy in their cars, they've been driving all their life. The seniors who are riding the bus are not wealthy, almost by definition. or else they've been told you can't drive anymore. You have to, when you're 80, you get to pass that test and you have the car taken away. So I can see a lot of merit in it being for seniors as well, at age, 65 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and recently at the BC NDP convention, there was a resolution passed to ask the government, the members of the NDP they voted together to ask the governing party, which is also the NDP, to eliminate fares immediately for youth 19 and under, and for seniors 60 and above.
Right.
And we love to see that.
And was the motion passed by the delegates?
It passed.
So now you have work to do with the politicians in caucus to get them to advance it?
Yes. It helps the case. It's on paper that their members want this. So the case is just growing and growing. And that just happened this past week.
So I know that in Vancouver, where the similar organization is called Movement, right? They actually had a whole weekend of trying to find the funding formula that would allow better transit all round. Because this is something complex, like what would the funding look like? How much would it cost? Where would it come from? How much will be saved? You haven't got to bother with fare. Well, actually, you still need fare boxes for the adults. So you don't get that.
The really good savings, you're right. The really good efficiency savings, healthcare savings, infrastructure, highway infrastructure savings, those start to come in when you've fully eliminated fares for everyone. That's when you don't have to deal with the passes. Yeah, there's a really excellent, I'm not an economist, I'm a social worker, but there's a really excellent article by a senior economist with the Center for Policy Alternatives, Mark Lee. And he wrote this article. It was published in 2024 in the Tyee. And he wrote that it would cost about $750 million a year to subsidize all the fares that are currently being paid in BC. In the city of, in Vancouver, in the Lower Mainland, TransLink is about to spend approximately $507 million to replace the Compass card system to pay for the buses.
So you wouldn't need a Compass card system. You wouldn't need the machines. You would save that 500 million.
Yeah, you wouldn't need anyone checking someone's income.
And by definition, once it's free, a new person riding the bus is no extra cost to anyone. So you're talking 750 million a year.
Yes, but then the ridership would also go up. So it would be a bigger investment.
So you need more buses. That's the point, because some of the buses take the route to UBC in Vancouver. It's full. You're standing only, and I'll ride the bus from the ferry at Horseshoe Bay into, and I have the embarrassing thing, I'm standing there and having someone look at me and telling me I'm a senior, offering my seat, and I get really embarrassed. I don't want to admit I'm a senior. But they're full. And so if you can't double the ridership on a bus that's full, so you do have extra cost.
We need to do this the right way. So that means asking leaders to be bold and stand up for the working class people, the poor and working people, most of the people, the vast majority of people in BC, and be willing to harvest the money needed to do this right from the wealthiest corporations and the wealthiest individuals who we know have the money. We know they're doing very well. Mark Lee said I think the economy of BC, the whole thing, it's like $400 billion or something like that. There's money flowing through this place.
So could you get a specific study done on like 3 possible ways to find that 750? Well, call it $1 billion, because you've got extra buses needed, and the fact that Victoria, they're building the rapid bus lanes, which is good, because it means, the fact that right now, if a bus gets stuck in the traffic on going to Soo, you're getting there at the same time as the car.
Absolutely, we need service improvements as well.
We need those improvements.
Yes.
But I can see that the politician's immediate response is going to be say, "Oh, we can't afford it." But if you then come with a study saying, "Well, there's 3 models that show how we could afford it. Which do you like?" Then, they weren't expecting that.
And also, we plan to build our membership. We would love for folks to join us. Where you can find us online on all the social media. VictoriaTransitRidersUnion.com is our website. Please sign up for our emails.
But your membership is really expensive, isn't it? It's for how much?
Well, we're planning to start charging $1.
There you go.
At some point.
$1 membership.
But we're flexible. If someone can't afford the $1, we still want you in the union.
Can I recommend that you actually make it a voluntary membership fee?
Yes. No, we're planning to do it as a voluntary.
I'm working with the Yellow Point Ecological Society. And instead of saying our membership's $20, we have a range. Some people are happy to give $250 annual membership. Because people are wealthier, will give more.
Oh yeah, if folks want to make it more than that, you can also donate on our website if anyone's listening and wants to do that. But what we're going to need to do, we know, is we're going to need to build a lot of solidarity with each other, show that we have the numbers,
Yes.
talk to our neighbors, talk to our friends, and we're going to need to force this change. We unfortunately, we're not in a place right now in BC where a lot of progressive changes are happening without being forced by the people. So we will need to get together.
So,
that's the idea of the union. We're stronger together. When we advocate together, just like a labor union, then we can have our voices
So
heard.
one of the dilemmas with the MLAs is that, I don't know this for sure, but I'm pretty sure that all of them own their own home. They're not renting, and they don't use the bus, probably. And maybe some in Victoria for just local trips. So they're not familiar with, so the bus going public is probably not represented in the legislature. So you need to find your champions, but a lot of the MLAs are social justice champions. I was lobbying them on environmental things, and I discovered that very few of them have any environmental background. A lot of them have social justice, poverty issues, labor union backgrounds. So you're talking to friendly people, but then they need the talking points. They haven't got the time to do all the homework. These are 3 methods of funding it. Let's discuss which one to use.
Yeah. And we want to build the momentum in the population. So we held an event last spring. We called it the Spring Transit Celebration.
There you go.
We got together. One of the things we're really proud of with the Transit Riders Union is we want to stay connected and really friendly with the unions representing the workers that are running the system. So we've been endorsed by the local Unifor folks who represent the bus workers. And we wrote thank you cards to the transit workers at this celebration. This kind of building community is part of the political work. It looks fun and exciting, but it's absolutely part of building the movement that we're going to need.
I'm proud that I claimed that I wrote the 5th law of sustainability. The first 4 are stuff around recycling. The 5th says, if it's not fun, it's not sustainable. So especially for advocates and activists, it's easy to burn out. But if the meetings are fun, because you have good relationships, and people get to know each other. I love going to the Transit Riders Union meetings because they're such fun. Then you'll build. But
and it's so important right now that we're getting together with other people and we're talking about what's possible and not just everything being so complicated that it can't be solved. There's a really challenging and frustrating thing, especially as a social worker. It's very frustrating for me when a lot of the media appearances of the MLAs are people claiming that these problems are so complex, so difficult to solve. It's just so complicated. But like this would be quite simple. You would increase the taxes on the wealthiest corporations, the wealthiest individuals, and you would use that money to abolish the fares. It's actually very, very simple, and it would solve a lot of problems.
Given that, I think Wikipedia has a list of all the communities that have free transit. It's 175. I counted them one by one. If you had posters with the name of a town and free transit, and then you posted them all over Victoria, it's like, oh, all these other communities are doing it, and normalize the idea, because we're so far from Europe over here. No one's got experience of free transit. The fact that the town of Hasselt in Belgium for like 20 years, but their ridership grew so big because of the free transit, they had to pull it back a little bit. But it's a common thing.
Yeah, and it's a really, really big idea right now. People are intuitively understanding it. I've even talked to my friend's dad, who has very conservative political views compared to me, and he just really loved how efficient it was, and he immediately intuitively understood why that's a smarter way to run the system. It's like that expression, like work smarter, not harder. We don't have to make it so complicated, and it's just really wonderful to get together with other people and affirm to each other, you are worth this good policy. You are worth things being run in a way that makes sense, and we can accomplish that together. We can make things better together.
So do you have a core group that works on the serious policy kind of stuff, and then a wider membership?
Yeah, so we have our wider community. At this point, it's essentially our email list and the folks who follow us.
That's the way it is,
That's kind of how we measure. And then the folks who are following us on social media, folks who come to our events. And then we have our core organizing committee. And so on the organizing committee, we write press releases, we organize different events we're going to have. We're hoping to have an event in late January, because it's kind of a depressing time of year. We thought it'd be a good time to get together, and calling it the Winter Transit Celebration, because we already had
And what would happen what will happen in that event?
We're thinking definitely some kind of art, because we've really enjoyed that in the past. I think we're just going to bring out again the thank you cards for transit workers, because people, it's really beautiful to watch people filling out these cards. One person drew a picture of themselves, and then they just wrote, "We would be lost without you."
Oh, perfect.
And it's
I mean, the tradition of always thanking the driver when you get off the bus is such a good tradition that we have here. You go to other cities and people, well, strangers come to Victoria and they, oh, what are you doing? Thanking the driver. But you know how in Portland, in the issues going on with Trump and Portland protesters, they started wearing these inflatable costumes. If you can commission an inflatable bus, people can actually become an inflatable bus. They have a little electric batteries to keep them inflated. You could all be dancing. The buses could go dancing down Government Street.
We definitely need some kind of large bus.
The media would lap it up.
Yeah, we need like a big cardboard bus or an inflatable bus. We definitely need some kind of large bus. We've also, I've been working actually with my niece who I live with, who's 4 years old. She's quite creative, and we've been working on new lyrics to the song "Solidarity Forever" to honor our labor ethos. So we're working on a transit riders version of the song "Solidarity Forever."
I'm always perverting well-known songs and just change the lyrics, right?
Yeah.
But if you had a walkable bus with nice big coloured signs, you could actually, say you've got 20 people, you could do a dance together. The bus could go zigzagging down the street, with boogie music going on. Yeah,
and we could use it at rallies and protests.
And people would enjoy being in that so much. And it would ride on the side of the bus, you know, free transit, where the number is at the front, you know. You could do all that fun stuff.
Yeah, that's a great vision. I love that.
You just have to work on, what does it take to make a bus? So you've got 10 people each side. It's got to be like, 30 feet long. Is it corrugated plastic siding? You could then probably...
So maybe carbon. We'll have to figure it out, but that would be really exciting to have.
Because also, once you've got it, you could be in the big street parades that happen, like the Santa parade and stuff like that. You could appear in all the other parades once you got that. And if it was just collapsible and foldable up, so it's just a number of flat stuff, it goes in someone's attic or whatever. Well, no, not an attic, but somewhere.
And even at a very serious event, I think it would be nice to have something like that. We were also invited by this transit rider named Carolyn to go up to the Cowichan Valley near the end of the very long strike.
They have terribly long strike.
The folks in that region, the transit workers, they were so steadfast in their struggle. They were on strike for about 7 months. So near the end of that, this transit rider asked us to come and hold a rally, a support rally. And so we got on the community action bus and we went up to the Cowichan Valley and we held a rally in support of the riders and the workers there. Often in those situations you have folks who want to pit the riders and the workers against each other, like, oh, isn't it so bad that these workers are on strike? We know why they're on strike. That's a corporation that is contracting out
it's a private corporation.
It's a multinational corporation based in France. They had no incentive to bargain with those workers. There was a quote from a Canadian representative of that corporation, the Canadian branch of it, and at the end of the strike, she said that it had been a very difficult chapter for everyone. And I wonder if she couldn't get to where she needed to go during those 7 months. We met a nice young mom, a First Nations woman who lived in the region, who had been without her only main form of transportation for 7 months. And we know it was a very difficult chapter for that person.
We only got 4 minutes left, but the Assembly of BC First Nations is finalising a big report on low-cost transportation at the moment. And it might be Charlotte Bull is the woman who's heading it up. It might be very good to get a word in edgeways in case they've got recommendations and they want to get that recommendation included, because for First Nations, who are scattered and remote everywhere, but there's an awful lot of Indigenous people living in urban areas too, who are not attached to a First Nation, for whom this becomes really important.
Oh, absolutely. And we are facing a situation right now politically where we're going to be told you have to choose between affordability or good service. You have to choose between service in the urban areas or rural areas.
Yeah.
And we reject all of that.
Yes.
We say if you have the moral courage to stand up for the poor and working people and capture the money you need to capture from the super wealthy corporations and individuals, we can have excellent transit in the rural areas, in the urban areas, and that's the vision we need. We need that from a climate perspective. We need that in this affordability crisis for the people, and we're going to demand it. And we're going to get together.
If you show up on the lawn of the legislature and do another big rally, you don't even get one line in the media. You've got to do something visual and different to get the media's attention, because increasingly we're a visual world, and people are so inundated with news, they want to see pictures that are different. And I have a saying that, you can choose not to read words, but you can't choose not to see something. And if you get the visuals for this, even giving people a bus, an online bus with a space in the middle where they can write, I like riding the bus because, and they can fill it in, and then you can put them all on social media, have fun with the whole thing, right?
I was thinking billboards, maybe with a real person saying where they would go more often when transit is free. There's so many possibilities. It's a beautiful idea, and so it's not going to be hard to explain it. We just need to get out there.
How big's your mailing list at the moment?
Well, I haven't checked with our online person. We have one person who's really good with all of the tech stuff.
But you want it to be around 10,000.
We would love for it to be 10,000. We're feeling good. We're growing well.
So if viewers want to get on your mailing list, what's the website they go to?
So it's victoriatransitridersunion.com. You can also find us on all the socials.
victoriatransitridersunion.com.
Yes.
And then put that same phrase into Facebook and all the other places.
Yes, if you just search Victoria Transit Riders Union, we've got YouTube videos of different things we've been up to.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing a lot more from you, and I'm looking forward to the fun in the public celebration and being in the media and those buses dancing down Government Street or whatever.
Oh yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be beautiful.
So this has been Liz Cronin with the Victoria Transit Riders Union for this fascinating discussion. Thank you for coming in. My name's Guy Dauncey. This has been the show Change the World. If you want more fun discussions like this, tune in next week for more, and we'll never know who's coming up next. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.